Yes. How are we doing today? Welcome to the YRU broadcast. Young and Rich University. It's a platform designed to educate folks in a step-by-step process to wealth building and also encourage folks who's in the journey of creating financial success for yourself and your family. And that's what it's about, folks. That's what it's about. Today we have a very special topic. We're talking about setting up your properties for Airbnb in order to achieve a high level of positive cash flow. And this got influence from and the COVID shutdown and also the landlord tenants regulation. Tenants utilizing the COVID excuse in order to maximize or minimizes or whatever it is, not paying the landlord their rent. And with COVID come into place, it puts a burden on the landlord tenancy board, which creates a high volume of application of deficiencies. Once that come into play, landlord with high interest rate and high ongoing cost to maintain your property becomes a problem for a lot of us out here. So what I've done over the course of that time frame is slowly transition a lot of my properties from long-term tenancy into long-term tenancy to landlord tenants lease into short to long-term tenancy on the Airbnb Verbo platform. And also I have my own platform that I do short-term and long-term rentals as well. So that's what it's about. It's about changing how you collect rent, changing how you do business with a consumer, and also putting the consumer on a public platform where he or she gets identified as a non-paying individual through third-party media, which is Airbnb and also the public platform of Airbnb. And I'm going to explain all that stuff to you as we move forward. So here's the thing, folks. So with high interest rate, high utility costs, high maintenance costs in your properties, a lot of your landlords are in a negative cash flow situation. That means you're not making any money. What are you doing? You're subsidizing your tenant's lifestyle. What that means, you got to come out your pocket of $500, $1,000 to $2,000 a month out of your pocket to keep that property afloat. That is not real estate investing. That is something totally different. Now, some of you got in that position by just poor leveraging. Some of you got in that position by just timing of the market. You have no control. Things just happen. In the sense that interest rate went up, caught you with a variable rate mortgage, and your carrying costs went up over the last 2 years plus. Now, it's a bad position to be in as a landlord because you're literally paying for others to live a luxury lifestyle because then technically can't afford to live in that house at cost rate. But two things happening. Can you even double your rent on that tenant because your cost double? Most times you can't. And if you can, would you want to do that? Probably not. They would move and find somewhere else to live. So how do you manage that situation while still remaining profitable and not drowned in debt? Well, I have an option for you. I wouldn't say a solution, it's an option that I did over the course of the same time frame. So as an entrepreneur, as a landlord, as a CEO of my organization, when I see things start changing, I don't wait until it gets really bad. I modify the program immediately to make sure I prevent certain things from happening. Now, I had a tenant named Bonnie. And Bonnie was a bus driver at, what do you call it again? Durham Region Transit. And Bonnie was constantly late every month. It was so annoying. I give Bonnie I think probably 15 late notice. And I document every time she was late. Even if she's 1 hour late, I document it. Because I noticed that it becoming so consistent. And I dislike that. So she worked at Durham Region Transit, and as soon as COVID hit, Bonnie moved from a few weeks late to a week late to a month late, and then 2 months late. So I said, Bonnie, hey, what's going on? She said to me that Durham Region Transit was paying her late because of COVID. Can you imagine this stuff? Durham Region Transit, a government organization, is paying his employees late. Do you believe that? Well, Bonnie was lying. Bonnie was using, just like a professional tenant, using the situation of our country in order not to pay the landlord. When I ran into the stores, I see Bonnie and her kids are shopping in Winners. They're Winners. They're shopping in Winners. They're like, you got to be kidding me. You're shopping in Winners. It's not even a basic food item. It's Winners. It's a luxury shopping store. And you owe me rent. And you're going to owe me rent coming the end of the month again. So we decided to modify the program. And as a lot of people come into the system and through COVID and start filing all these default applications, the landlord tenants board start getting backed up with all these applications. They're no longer able to sustain getting those hearings on time within the 4 to 6 weeks as promised. It's now going to 3 to 4 months, 4 to 6 months, and so on and so on and so on. And they keep extending. So we decided to modify the program. And then immigration also came into play. Immigration increase in the numbers. You have the Ukraine-Russia war. No more refugees start coming to Canada, and the volume of people start pouring into this place like crazy. And I'm thinking, wait, what's going on? The more this stuff start happening, the more problem we can have as landlords. Now, in some jurisdiction, they're about 12 to 14 months to get a hearing to the landlord-tenants board. And that's a problem for me as a landlord. Your cost is going up through high interest rate. Utility cost is going up. And now your tenants refusing to pay or pay late. So we modified the program. I quickly evicted Bonnie from the property, and I cleaned the house up nicely, and I converted into an Airbnb. Folks, the first month, I doubled my income on that property. We moved from a $2,400 a month for a 3-bedroom townhouse to now $4,500 to $4,800 a month through Airbnb, fully furnished. This is during or shortly post-COVID. And I'm saying, wow. So once we start testing out 1 or 2 properties and we start see some positive results, we start going through the transition of slowly converting all or most of our properties into short-term rental or on the Airbnb platform, whatever was applicable. And I'm going to tell you how to do it, folks. First of all, pay attention closely. Please check your local bylaws on short-term rentals. And repeat myself again, please. Please check your local bylaws on short-term rentals. Do not call your municipality. Do not call your condo board if you have a condominium common element property and ask them about Airbnb. There's no policy in government. There's no policy on condo boards that's against Airbnb. So if your government or your municipality or your condo board send you a letter to stop doing Airbnb, please tell them, correct the language that they put in those documentation in. There's no policy against Airbnb. Airbnb is a public trading company that's providing a service to the consumer in many countries. And there's no one can stop Airbnb from operating. Now, let's get back to it. What a lot of municipalities and condo boards are doing, they put in a short-term bylaw, short-term rental bylaw. And short-term rental bylaw indicate you may or may not lease your property out to an end user for 3 to 4 to 5 days to 30 days to compete or compare to the commercial bylaw for hotels on a residential property. You understand that? You may, some allow, some may not allow. you to use your home or investment property for short-term rental purposes. So you cannot rent that property out as a host to a guest for 3 and 4 and 5 days. Or you can in some cases where they don't care. Okay? So check all your local municipality bylaws on short-term rentals, not Airbnb or Verbo, short-term rentals. Now, some of the municipalities, if you work in the GTNA, Toronto, they have a restriction on any property being leased out on Airbnb platform or Verbo platform for less than 28 or 30 days. They have a bylaw against that. And the bylaw sometimes states you cannot do it, or the bylaw states that you have to get a license through an application to the municipality, and they give you a license and have their stipulation what you need to do and apply to get qualified for that license. You might need better insurance and all these other stuff they ask for. But I've never seen a municipality that prevent you from doing Airbnb. Keep that in mind, folks. They can prevent you from doing short-term rentals. And short-term rental have a stipulation, which is normally less than 28 days in some places, less than 30 days in other places. Okay? So keep that in mind, number one. So you clarify that your local municipalities allow or do not allow short-term rentals. And even then, if they don't allow short-term rentals, it doesn't stop you from doing Airbnb. You just got to understand what to do now. Okay? So let's move forward now. So then if you have a condo or a common element property, or common area property like a POTL or POLT, what's it called? Parcel of land title, POLT, parcel of land title, POLT, which still have a common board, condo board that governs it. If you have one of those properties, okay, check. There might be bylaws in there that works against short-term rentals as well. Okay, understand what's in that bylaw. If you're in a condo, a full-fledged condo building, some of them might have a bylaw for short-term rentals, or it might be just a minimum amount of stay in your property. For instance, some might say 6 months, some might say 4 months, some might say 3 months. Okay, and that's a part of the board come together and form that bylaw to prevent or to allow short-term rentals in their description of short-term rentals. Okay, very important. So now we're on the same page. We understand that what the local bylaws of the condo board is and what the local bylaws of the municipality is. Once you understand that, now you go and furnish your property. Now, how you furnish your property? I like to do brand new stuff because my stuff is on the warranty. My furniture is on the warranty. Some people like to buy stuff on Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, and different places you can get it cheaper. Some people buy stuff on clearance. Whatever it is, makes you comfortable to your budget, that's what you choose to do. Okay? Now, if you're going to buy brand new furniture, you're buying brand new furniture for your property from a store, especially buying a lot of furniture, you want to make sure that the store you're buying this furniture from do cover Airbnb. So it says, sir, ma'am, I'm buying this furniture from you. I'm putting my Airbnb. If there's a problem, do your store, am I voiding the warranty if I put these furniture in a short-term rental? Yes or no? Some people say yes, some would say no. Some don't care. I mean, if the furniture is broken, they will replace it under the warranty program. Okay, so you're good to go. Now, I recommend you put good quality furniture in your property. And here's why. I had a young lady coming in and she said to me, Frank, her son is 300 pounds. She says, Frank, I'm not kidding you not. The kid is 300 pounds. So make sure your furniture can handle it. First day in the property, boom, the kid sits in the chair. The back was broken. The back of the chair was broken. I contact the crappy furniture company to replace it. They haven't returned my call all now. I had to take other measures to get my money back, which they did. They had a problem with that. Okay, so they got my money back, and I had to went and buy better quality furniture from a better quality store. So it's important that you when you buying furniture, buy good quality furniture from good store. Make sure you have warranty for it. Okay. Now, Jen then you set up your profile. I'm not going to tell you to set up Airbnb, like how to run your ads and all this kind of stuff, and just give tips in here that I think is important. There's tons of videos on YouTube and on Google can show you how to set up your Airbnb properly, how to stage it properly, how to do all this kind of stuff. Okay, Airbnb literally is, folks, it's an app and a cleaning company. Sometimes if you're new, you get 2 or 3 cleaning companies to get stuff done. Okay, app and a cleaning company. You can set up the cleaning company onto your profile so they can see when tenants come, when tenants go. You know exactly when to go into your property to get it clean. So that's important that you have that. Okay, 2 or 3 cleaning company or 1. I start off with 2 or 3 of them at the beginning. Now I only have 1 that's good to get all my work done. Not a problem. Okay, and that's how it works. So then schedule a cleaning company, come and get things done in a certain period of time, and pay your cleaning companies well. Do not be cheap with the cleaning companies. The cleaning company is the first eye of disturbance or the first eye of goodness. So when a tenant or a guest leave, the cleaning company goes in there first. If it's bad, they can look at things thoroughly for you. And if it's good, then they just tell you what's going on with your property. So don't be cheap with your cleaning company. Pay them very, very well. It's manual labor, and I recommend you charge that cost back to the guest that's coming in, because you can get a good quality place. The tenants can enjoy, the guests can enjoy the place, the property, and they can give you good reviews. All right. Now, in order to run your Airbnb, you should get minimum 30% to up to 300% in more revenues than you get from regular tenancy. So for instance, if you're getting $1,000 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment, 2 long-term lease, you should get on the winter months only $1,300. In the summer and spring months, that can go to $2,600, $2,000. It goes more. So spring and summer is when you make your most money on Airbnb. So you want to crank up your rates during that time. In the wintertime, it gets a little bit slow. You drop your rates and you make a little bit less, but you should be making more than you get doing regular rentals. Okay, there's all kind of apps and different websites out there to tell you whether your area is good for Airbnb or not. And even though they have those, I don't tend to spend a lot of attention on those. I tend to pay more attention to what's going on locally in my area. So I look at the apps and stuff because stuff happening locally the internet doesn't get, that you can find it locally. Okay, like for instance, a couple of small towns that I have properties in, they have a lot of local construction going on there. So a lot of guys coming into town for work, and they need place to stay. They don't want to stay at a hotel because they stay in there 3, 4, 5 months at a time. They want a house, 3, 4 guys in a house, and they come home, they go to work during the day, they come home, they don't destroy your place, they just sleep, go to work, and they sometimes even go home on the weekend to their family, come back again on Sunday. They don't want to drive back and forth every day. So they partner up, drop the cost low, and they stay at your house for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. If the contract extend, they stay longer. The contract shorten, sometimes they shorten the stay. And you're providing a service for those guys in town. Okay. The other thing you should do is keep running ads on Facebook Marketplace to drive traffic to your Airbnb the Airbnb link or Airbnb listing. So don't just rely on Airbnb only. Put ads on Facebook Marketplace to drive traffic to your Airbnb link, and that keeps the place fully booked for a long period of time. Okay, very important. Now, again, 30% to up to 300% you should be getting revenue. Don't be cheap on your furniture. Don't be cheap with your cleaners. Transfer the cost back to the guest who's coming in. What is going on here now? Now, the other market we see that is doing very well on Airbnb is the people that's coming in, new immigrants that come in brand new in the market, and some of them don't have a lot of money, some have a little bit of money, and they want a place to stay. Sometimes they don't have first and last month rent. Airbnb is a pay-as-you-go. So you pay X amount of dollars, and you stay for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. Why they get themselves situated through either government housing or family and friends, whatever it is. They come in with just their clothing and the company. They have no furniture. So your property is ideal for them. You have all these immigrants coming to Canada, and they need a place to stay within a short time frame. Your Airbnb home is a good way to help the government with all these people on the streets and everything else going on in the city. You help them clean up the streets by putting them into your Airbnb property. And the list goes on. So you're actually providing a good quality service. The only thing you need to pay attention to is the bylaws that you might be breaking. And that can be from your local municipality or your condo building or your common element townhouse. You got to check that as well. And once you pass those three different resistance that you can potentially have, you move on and start Airbnb your property. Now, what are some of the biggest benefits of Airbnb other than just more revenue? If there's a problem, Airbnb gets involved immediately. They don't waste time. You don't have to wait 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Immediately, within an hour or two, an Airbnb rep gets on the phone and talk to you and also the guests, and you guys resolve whatever issue or problem you're having. So that's one of the biggest benefits. You have to wait 4, 5, 6 months, okay? And they resolve it immediately. If someone damaged your house, damaged your furniture, damaged your appliances, there's insurance to cover the damage of anything that went wrong in your property. Once you can prove that furniture or appliance was in good working order before that person move in, once they leave and it's damaged, Airbnb will replace it for you. Insurance, damage locks, damage everything. There's insurance to cover everything. On the regular tenancy, if somebody damaged something, you go to landlord-tenant court, you win a judgment, you still got to go and sue them after to get the judgment to be paid. So you don't want to be in that position. Again, if you're comfortable with long-term lease and is working for you, stick to it. Don't change. If you're looking for a different option to get more revenue while you're still able to stay positive cash flow and have a bit more of a peace of mind experience, I recommend you slowly transition your property from long-term tenancy to Airbnb. But the one thing I pay attention to again, watch the bylaws of the condo, the bylaws of the local municipality. Don't break those because you can have a problem on your hands. You don't want to be a problem and you want to have issues. You want to make money, you want to have problems. We're going to be talking more and more about some of the new mortgage rules that's come into play and how that's going to affect the economy, how that's going to affect you guys, and hope you can adjust your finances to match up what's going on. You got to keep changing things. If you don't keep changing things, you'll be doing 1960 landlording in a new market. Okay, the immigration program is opening up more and more. There's more and more people coming to this country, and they cannot all stay in hotels. They're going to need to stay in your homes. If you have a house, you have a basement, you have a room here and there, open up your room for extra cash flow, put cash in your pocket. And I recommend Airbnb. You're going to make more money with a lot less hassle. Now, keep in mind, this is not an anti-government, anti-landlord and tenant board program. This is just a solution to a problem that we have going on locally. Landlords are complaining. Landlords are highly in debt. Landlords can't get a hearing fast enough to get their solution to get the tenants out. And even then, it can be a long period of time. I recommend put the property in Airbnb. You can do long-term Airbnb. You can do 1 year Airbnb. You can do 6 months Airbnb. You can do 2 years Airbnb. Airbnb is no longer an event and party and vacation spot. It's a way of tenancy now. It's a way to have tenants. It's a way to have being paid directly from an organization that almost pretty much guarantee your money every month versus the tenant who's constantly being late. That's the setup is going on now with Airbnb. So you're in a better spot now than before. Now, if you want that guaranteed income every month to you, Airbnb is not a place. You can have some vacancies. You're probably going to have some vacancies, especially in the winter months. You got to be able to sustain that. But you make so much money in the spring and summertime, it compensates you for the winter months when things might be slow. Your cash flow can be a lot better. You can double, sometimes even triple your cash flow. It depends on the property and the location, the area you're in. So I recommend look deep into Airbnb. If you have any questions, you can text me 647-237-3642 on WhatsApp. Don't call me, ask me stuff you can find on YouTube. Just search it and YouTube will tell you it. There's a lot of information there on Airbnb. You can Google it as well. A lot of information. What else going on here? Look and see for areas and towns that development happening and pay attention to those areas. If you're buying properties in those areas, especially in the outer part of Toronto, workers come into town. They come into town and they need a place to stay. You have no problem getting the place rented for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Those guys pay good money and they don't destroy your property. All they want is a place to sleep and go. A lot of these guys are homeowners in their local town where they're from. They might be 2-3 hours out. People come from all over the world to Airbnb in Canada for work. I had guys come from Switzerland, Amsterdam. People came from Alberta, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, you name it, right across the country. People coming into the GTA looking for work and they need a place to stay. And you, as a landlord, as a host, can help find residence for those people. New immigrants coming to the country, refugees, you name it. They need longer term stay, and that's cheaper. Airbnb is a better solution than a hotel. Hotel is more expensive, smaller space, and they can't cook. They got to eat on the road all the time. Become very unhealthy for them. Airbnb, they can have a stove. They have everything like they're living inside of a home. Okay, so I recommend folks setting up your properties for Airbnb. It's a different solution for long-term tenancy. It doesn't have to be 3, 4, and 5 days. I have people staying in Airbnb for over a year now, year and a half, 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, and it goes on. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to make a comment on the link of this video. Again, you can shout out, hit me back anytime you want about information about landlording. We'll be talking about the mortgage rules coming up and all the different things you should be paying attention to. We'll be talking about locations that you should be investing in right now. We have 2 space we hard on right now. South Oshawa is going crazy. They're changing over South Oshawa. You can be a part of that change. Go in and buy properties for cheap, fix them up, and rent them out. Again, you put them in Airbnb again if you want to do that. It's cheap to furnish a place and then put it in Airbnb. Okay. You want a brand new pre-construction, bit of a luxury style. We have the Port Hope right off the golf course looking over Lake Ontario. Lakeview Village, pre-construction, closing off in 18 months. All single detached homes, double car garage, from small as 1,600 to over 3,000 plus square footage. Those are nice properties to buy. Right now, the market is going through a change where you can get in, secure a deal or two, and wait a year or two in order for the property to appreciate. And you make it easily 100, 150,000, 200,000. Depends how the market perform. Okay? My name is Frank Corbin. Shazam, Shazam to success. Young and Rich University. Yeah, converting your long-term rentals to Airbnb for higher cash flow. You get more income, but it's not as stable as long-term tenancy. And if there's a problem, the resolution process is a lot easier. It's pretty simple, folks. All Airbnb is an app and 1 or 2 or 3 cleaning companies to help you manage your property well, to clean your property up on time, and deliver a good quality product to the consumer. New immigrants, long-distance workers, international workers, you're providing a nice place for them to live. Again, Shazam, Shazam to your success. See you then.